there's nothing wrong. Guy on YouTube. I think if I know, is it Victor Usu?
Okay.
I say, maybe show no so. An analysis in a bad diamond. I'm saying,
hey. Victor, my kind of message in the crisis here.
Victor, I've done this. I've done this business for a very, very long time. Except Bas and Lusu game we are saying another day.
Maybe a foreigner and all
rich. And the born one should be. It was clear how Barca lost. And you do a become one somehow they lost.
Okay.
Victor, me their fanaticism, their free me mudada. Rich.
Okay.
Chelsea 2-1 now when you're against Liverpool. So, Ushe game ni DBM. To me, say me post-match analysis of Chelsea win now. Adia bakwa a ringi bell mitrimpa. Enunti. Emma enanopa mebo Chelsea coach Maresca. Any players na baso eya kukudro.
Okay.
Chelsea were so brave, and I was even surprised. So Kobo Liverpool aon. Na unhu omo line up no mo front three no eye Salah, Gakpo, Isaka. Na unhu sa front three na no. Na usho wo akire ho. Na uni Kowa. Uni Tosin. Uni Chaloba. Uni omwa
for fun and
you count on them as your first point of call or backliner. Rich, one way you will fear. Even before the game, there were some Chelsea fans almost pre-match analysis and they say, Josh, no, or you crowded though. Liverpool they play with a lot of intensity. Inti Emma Omuma akrani kobo. Na Liverpool man oba na pressure against Liverpool obey mistakes. Eti ebe kra wo de Mama Gusto Motu never reach James Emmo 4 and 5 at least on here or your experience at this level. Rich, my ask say Debbie.
So now I'm about Josh.
I will play the center backs that are available to me because they are center backs. Rich, Sanka Chelsea and she game we are and connect. And can you hear a lot of Chelsea fans saying, Maresca no on your tactical?
I saw a day.
No couple players we mo. But when you win, the analysis is different. You become a hero. That is why I always say, coaching a Jumano. Any year post-match analysis, you know, what we do is to only give meaning to what has already happened. Rich, that was a bold Chelsea team against Liverpool. And mistake game now, the intensity of the game, even with Chelsea problems are no more to open up and say, look, you know any problem. Attack us. Yes, we will attack you.
Especially when Liverpool take on.
Yes.
Nam Senka.
Chelsea, yes.
Pedro.
Still. And look at Maresca substitutions our year. For me, that was what was telling the Chelsea players. Say, look, me am your coach, you know. Me am Jiran Chen. I still see say this game is up for a win. Let's chase it. I love that about Maresca. And as me came in Rich, Nimpompon so any the evidence when Esteban was Shegono, you saw how Maresca ran to the team. That should tell you say Ojina Hono. He had a feeling say game me a me shady a Liverpool there. But this game there is a win I need to chase. And I can only chase it when I gather the courage to play the kind of football I'm supposed to ball back. And a Yejuma man solid. Look, Chelsea in 3-3 for no mobile game, you know. They were up for the game. Even when Liverpool decided to play Gravenberch, Soboslai, McAllister, later Omo for Vets Bamu, they were trying to do, but Chelsea funny news say game where we need to stand up to you and one no. You know body pinche. A free say Omo pon game no. Ever seen ne? me now for phobia say Kwekwa have been arguing on X. They say oh, Salah let them down. There were a lot of chances at Liverpool. He could have passed
as
the
ball
to
go.
Either Iketike, Isak, and after Gakpo in good positions. But Salah decided say, oh, Liverpool has always been him, and so I shall and the game you lose yesterday. It was quite a lot of chances. No, Omujini said, baby, I come he should gather experience and do that. And no credit. Because Rich, do you know say when overshare the numbers now? It tells you say Liverpool has an XG of 1.74, Chelsea had 0.88, but they won the game. It means that Liverpool per bono boy any chance of creating more and share more goals, even though they created more chances than Chelsea. But Rich, games we say you only have to take your chances because a moment in our games and then about me Kalateta will say in big games the Abema Ujina either will be winning and now be losing. And what happened in 2 boxes now? Unya all the day, or Unya the other day. And I was so happy, say Estevao, after the game, there's a picture. Kopama in his jacket ran onto the pitch and hugged Estevao because he won them the game. Which Chelsea did well.
Yeah.
So courageous. And I love Sadio. And if Enzo Maresca bet in big games, which then the big game they will play. They will play power. They don't need to fear. Yes, ending with this attitude, no problem. Especially our young they did a super job. Guy me busa me wo YouTube say between Gravenberch and Moeska said.
I say across Abubusa.
But you see, and yet after Chelsea about Liverpool, and Abubusa sa question way. Last season, Gravenberch was better. Moeska said this season after he has started
7 matches.
It's only a monko. Even in the 7 matches, Rich, Liverpool were unbeaten in the league until Nancy Crystal Palace show me. Me busano time Liverpool no unbeaten no first 5 games. Would he have come to us? Why they had the best DM? You don't ask that question after a game. Or mobile by question the young everything is going your post season new year.
Okay.
Yes, I made this uncommon. But Gravenberch is coming into this season as the best DM for last season. And a season where you're more baby, you're more careful until Omunyanto was here. But Chelsea were brave. And I love that about the team in getting the results against your friend Liverpool. Rich. Arsenal, they are League. And they are playing the league. I say, look, every match be aniabo. Upakura muni money free titles. Udi yemo game na. Rich, Meyani Mikel Arteta enya the same feeling. It is as if Mikel Arteta nim say, Rich, sa okoni say ya, obelusubi. Obebo draw bi obe win to draw na but Rich say you free December ni you red January February echo match nasa Arsenal in contention of the league and the Champions League. Rich, this season Arsenal will win a major trophy. And I like the way they are going. They dispatch it against West Ham. And then they were tipped to beat West Ham. And they beat them. Arsenal making sure that they beat them. Now, Rich, Saturday, maybe catch you say. So, Osha fixtures in the Premier League now. Arsenal start, was difficult. They managed the start of the Premier League now difficult, behind Liverpool. Now, the moment that situation is switching here, Liverpool ever started difficult games, also Arsenal at the top. That is how it is.
He's 16-15.
So league now. Who the difficult ones now? Who the grand film? features no ebe feature ebe favor when obi so be do the difficult zone mu. I want also relatively cheaper games, you know, Rich, then you get the result, and see whether the Pacoso can grind and come and meet you or not. And that is what Arsenal Football Club, Etini Aye, Enra. I think Yapon Kotokone Heart of Lions game no. Metina Mekema, Medeto Lava FM, who said, Omo running BBC commentary on the City Brentford no. Na Yeba Pong. Rich, pressure. City were holding on to the 1-0 now. Abranti friend Ellen Haaland Ashen. And I understood it because Rich. Se Usha Opta numbers no Mudiabana. Two teams now had SG of 0.83. So I mean say no be amuro so. But again, the difference will be one person. Ellen Haaland. And when City are playing the game I tight. Who said that who difference be Rich, they have one striker. You're programming it to score goals, and he will always give you that if Oman a chance. Meaning, say, what pay attention to this from up to Rich. Almost say, Uber Premier League in the Mua. Say, you have first 7 games. Rich, there are only 2 players, and the Omoka Ellen Haaland who, in terms of goals, Dudu Awashe in your first 7 games in the Premier League. Rich, Omo Mutimba listing him in the top 5. Wayne Rooney in the 2011-2012, and Diego Costa for Chelsea in 2014-2015. Omo share 9 goals. Who you know fewer? Erling Haaland this season already has 9 in the first 7, no. But in previous seasons, in 24-25, he share 10. In 22-23, he share 11. That is how this guy is, and the quickest manager to get to 250 wins, obviously, Pep. And where you just one note, I'll wait to media tours, or your Pep fan. Said that should be when you are debating for the greatest managers in the Premier League. This is one of your strong points. I remember say, oh, Sisha Pep and give it now. Now, Odiaba say he reached the 250 wins in earlier than any coach using 349 matches. Wenger at the 423, Alex Ferguson at the 477, and a tight win for Tima Yefeni City. Reach your international break. Obiani baby any team that kune our Premier League so. Arsenal at the top, Liverpool, Spurs, Bournemouth, Man City, Crystal Palace, Chelsea at the 7th, Manchester United at the 10th. Oh, so that is our Premier League in the AC etier. Rich young in the Spanish La Liga. There is something I realize about Real Madrid. And me say also observe the same thing. Rich teams near La Liga ni mu nyina. Opa ba ko mbo ba fe pa e Villarreal. They love to build, play passes, nice game. And until previously, so we share Real Madrid, especially last season. Now Real Madrid have break because now we've already established under Ancelotti, Madrid incidentally a coordinated pressing team. Almost happening yet. Rich, that is why Xabi Alonso has changed. And say Unyan Toba share Real Madrid Villarreal. Majority of the chances are Real Madrid enya where when they press Villarreal, when someone pass it from the back, no more start your transition. Madrid press so more anymore, no match the ball, then they overturn, no more catch chance more. Luckily for Villarreal, Masantuano Monia him and punish those incidents. But it was always going to get to that point where Madrid be overturn it. So omo transition with omo personal and Alonso, and they will turn it into goals. Now, Rich, this season, Madrid team no Ayala be killing Mbappe team well established. Obi any problem. But Madrid be go far. The other players must also take some of the responsibilities. And I am energy say in the last 3 games, Rich Vini is gearing up. I say kakan Oba. And I love the first goal no share. And solo after the flick from Mbappe, I know picking ball from my favorite left ho. Rich, then he as I dribble go inside that's what so cut it in. Playing we are so cutting in. Pa no Kelly born. Keep on the first pole. And a born the say. Now what I love they say. Or say go on the year. In my opinion, we say, Charlie, my Jimmy dear, I need the other players to also feel comfortable and get on form and confidence. And to him, after Vinicius Asher first goal, no, penalty ni ba no. Mbappe say me mo J bonus two. Now so e pay ya won e bra. And I love that gesture from my branch friend Kylian Mbappe. Now him Villarreal goalkeeper no. E say ball no Vini na bobo penalty no. And was so run adwini. Rich, me share TV na then I saw Kylian Mbappe come and tell the goalkeeper say Masa and then Kasako Chino money penalty. Let me say that is good from Kylian Mbappe. I was so happy. Say Kylian Mbappe has realized say on point me for Real Madrid encore. Abranche friend Vinicius need to come on board and he gave him the penalty 2 there. Na AFA after the red card for Villarreal. Abra no matter back no. They say the anthem at Bernabeu and they say Kylian Mbappe to score and he added the third goal 3-1. Now Real Madrid every edge man. Now came what happened at the Success one. Rich, last season, Barcelona said Sevilla 4-1, 5-1. Home and away. 4-1, 5-1. And it's how 4-1 way. Last year I was Success one. Now say how. But not Barcelona na 4 they said the name and I want to know what Sevilla. Mekai their coach Permanta. In all the games I share, I call the post-match press conference. I know Musa Sadentina, Basa said the brace, or see, Basa for intensity no Mudibo game. No, enemy players, no, only slow. And Basa was beating them with intensity. Now, Rich, I know Muja Permanta Queen. I know Mkofa Matias Ahmed Abai. Ahmed Abai, no, Sevilla near you. But ahead of the Barcelona game, Rich, players be say Vegas mo, Alexis Sanchez mo, Romeo mo, Esther Somo Casasa. The Barca did be Sevilla last season. No. This time around, it will not be the same because Omu coach in say, Oshon last season, boy na, they did some things very, very wrong. Rich, I don't know if you've watched the highlights of the game. Hansi Flick. On who say. And the way also money in the ball. And that last season, a lot of the offside trap I know was set within the high line. You know. Rich, people have known how to break it. Me man should game me because time I game started 2:15. No, I was preparing to come to the Barbara Sports Stadium for the Kotoko game, so I left. Me drew stadium and me and I'm one of the guys be on me. And on in Ninya Barcelona ni Onya say oh Ayala ya say 2-0 and I'm say I know say Barca game no say me kura ma adwene kwa ni ho me fifie na 1-0 against Barca. Rich and I'm cutting a stance me found me phone na me say oh Barcelona at back Rashford time Barca nya penalty no me hu notification no na Lewandowski assay penalty no and I'm say Lewandowski assay penalty we dia Barca will not win. Rich me be feel na me highlights no then I realize look about 70% of the game Barca ne kuta ball no mo all right but Rich anytime bia Sevilla benya ball ni bia no there was one thing a quick pass into Barcelona defensive channels any behind on high line no and Americana Sevilla Young West I don't want you so two behind the high line no it was as if say oh na say me Amelda I watch Luis Enrique play more than say and you who there omede here mo it is some small players bi omo runners we will know how to use them and me can say last season say you don't have to beat this Barcelona team by trying to breach omo offside trap no play the ball there and start what to make. They don't have really good runners apart from Ebi Abade, any Kubasi, any Arahu. But Ubo to turn and who speechless or Makwa, they will always be getting their chances. And Rich, we saw it over and over again from team my friend Sevilla and Barcelona no team in way. Listen to Hansi Flick. After the game, or say this feeling today needs to give us motivation for the rest of the season. I would like to fight for every title. Rich, even if you win quadruple in a season, you will have this moment in that season.
Okay.
Where you will be preached, you will be bruised for you to know, say, adeɛ wey they are coming home. Say, me sua nyansa frima, mami sua enfrimu entem. So that is it with Sevilla and Omo Giomani and Omo dressing room hall after that famous win. No, and to reach Real Madrid are back on top, 2 points. And Omo de ama team Inferno Barcelona 21-19. And Omo ede ama Barca ewo ehonum. Rich, in just 1 minute. In the last 4 seasons, Rich, in quotes, there is no league I is so competitive. Serie no. And I feel
teams like say no so kwan na top.
I feel so sad about Rich.
Points no be 100 though. I have 1.2 1 2.
Inter share Cremonese, they were supposed to beat them. My highlights this guy on Bonnie, no. When you papa, you want Bonnie. We just say to them or player fino. Pair Bonnie in Lautaro Martinez. They are good to go. Okay. 1 goal, 3 assists. Inter Omajuma. Then what is I didn't find and I name me a call for fun.
Italian league na no
nimbo. Ebia. The intensity no from mano. And there is no attention giddy bia and we feel we like to play that. And general share first goal. And then Guisa echo taker. Rich. Then again Rasmus Holland with the winning goal. The guy is enjoying his football. Rich. And we are a pawn game, you know. Many strike and pull back. You have a game with Bulldog, Juve AC Milan. Rich. And who's a striker AC Milan? Now, Enra. Yes, sorry, say and you could see a lot of pain in him because this was a game they could have won easily. Ya penalty at all. Pulisic, boom, over the bar. Rich. Now. Abanti Efeno Minya any man of the match. He made a save from Vlahovic on. Rich, that save was a game changer. With a picture crown. Maybe Vlahovic, you know. Look at how close are you to the pole.
And there was a stretchy and
look at his stretch to block that ball. Rich, Rafael or your player when he but Obesho before papa. And my chance be pro no.
Rafael.
I'm going to Rich. That is a Serie A no Napoli about back to top with Roma, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, Atalanta. Say they all the big boys are there. 15, 13, 12, 10. The Italian Serie A no more there. Rich, you're not fear. Ghana Premier League. And we are not Baba.
Sure.
It's more Sembebre.
Ebedin come no. I say for your birthday, the official no air to amuso. Binia oblite come good morning. Me won say we show no. Benjamin says go no good. Enkaka kam say befa pass. Say